We call it a fugue state, but when you really look at what a fugue, like to meet the criteria for a fugue state, I've actually never had a client meet criteria.
Interesting. Okay, and how would you say the work with the DID clients, how did the therapy help those, dissociative disorders, how did the therapy help those clients? Just more stabilization, interpersonal relations, improving daily functioning, that kind of stuff?
And there's a whole subset of things. So here's the complexity of it for me. Mm-hmm. Under that umbrella of dissociative, say, identity disorder or DDNOS or depersonalization disorder, we're also going to have disordered eating or eating disorders. Yeah. So again, that might branch off.
Okay.
And I might ask a colleague who does yoga, Kundalini yoga, to work with somebody who's got what we might classify as body dysmorphic disorder, or severe binge purge, and now can't feel comfortable in their body, even though we've dealt with the anxiety there. So a lot. What I forgot to say was during stage 1, 2, and 3. Stage 2 and 3 is when we'll ask adjunct therapists or adjunct therapy to occur. So I'll have clients who will actually, I'll ask them to go down to CASA.
Okay.
To do their trauma therapy at CASA, because I think CASA is going to be a better fit than I am.
Yeah.
Or we have a 12-week group relationship with food. So women who have disordered eating, stage 2 and 3, they'll do that group as well. Or they'll go into yoga. Or they'll stop therapy here. And one person, I asked her to go to see Elder Carey at the University of Calgary, who does intergenerational trauma workshops. And so this client is doing intergenerational workshops through the Aboriginal Center because her identity as a Native woman was absent her entire life, and she's feeling that loss, and she's feeling the need to belong, and now she's ready to be able to tolerate everything that comes with attachment to belonging to a social identity and personal identities, but her social identity has never really been a part of her life because of quality of life interfering behaviors. So now that she's at the stage of forging a sense of identity, a stable identity, attending sweats, going to this intergenerational trauma workshop for 6 weeks, that's part of the therapy process.
Yeah.
And somebody else is far more qualified to do that than I am. Okay. So those are things that occur generally at stage 2 and 3.
That's good to know, yeah.
Sorry, can you ask me your original question? There's something I wanted to say and I forgot.
How did therapy help the clients with dissociative disorders?
Okay. So if I look at outcome, what do I look for? Continuous memory.
Okay.
Purposeful behavior. Intentional behavior.
Okay.
Avoidance of impulsive behaviors. Capacity to have multiple attachments. That is, for both PTSD and dissociation, that is huge. Capacity for multiple attachments. I look for balance in weekly structure, consistent and balanced weekly structure, which is we don't have a shift, a significant shift in social cognitive functioning under stress.
Okay.
That is a huge one. And I look for capacity to tolerate stress without engaging in any dissociative symptoms.
Okay.
Another important one, the capacity to consistently sustain loving, caring feelings for important persons in their lives. To me, that's a huge feature of dissociation and complex PTSD, is the inability to remain in love and feel love for children, partners, other family members. That tends to wax and wane. Mm-hmm. And it's very disturbing for someone to say, I know I should love my children, but I don't.
Right.
When for moms, a predictor of outcome in therapy is, do they have positive regard, or at least regard for their children?
Okay.
That's a huge one for me. If I see moms in particular who do not have regard or positive regard for their children, I'm on it from stage 1 onwards.
Okay.
How to go to neutral regard for the important people in your life.
Yeah.
So when I start seeing those kinds of outcomes, then I know the person is progressing through therapy. We also do weekly outcome measures. We might do, if there's BPD traits, I'll do the BEST, the Board of Aligned Evaluation of Severity of Time. We enter it into an Excel spreadsheet. It gives us a trend line. And we look for that trend line to say, session 86, mm-hmm. right? It could be quite far down the road.
Yeah.
You can expect the person to be scoring within the normal range. We'll do the I was just going over it with somebody, my brain's gone. The DD, what's it called? The dissociative scale.
The DES?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do that it's part of the assessment process. And then I might, again at 3 months or 6 months, right? Look at follow-up. We look at absence of self-harm, emerge visits, quitting jobs. So again, that impulsive behavior, but we'll look for the markers. And things like SUDS, subjective units of distress. Over time, we should start seeing a reduction of that,
right,
session to session. So we kind of use evaluation strategies, some of the soft core ones like SUDS, or we might use the BEST, which is more formative evaluation.
Yeah.
And so that's how we kind of measure progress over time.
Okay. And do you find there's good success with the treatment you're doing?
Most of my clients, not all, there's some. Here's the thing that I keep in mind: the negative regard for children, inability to engage in mentalization, and severity of symptoms with BPD and personality disorder symptoms, as opposed to more dissociative symptoms. So the what we used to call the axis 2. So those help me to understand how far the person might move in therapy. So there's a subset of clients where stabilization, getting to stage 1, may be the best that we can accomplish, and they never sort of move off disability pension, or they can never sustain healthy relationships. So there's a small subset of clients. The majority, however, of the clients at 1 year have entered stage 3, 2 or 3. At least stage 2. By 2 years, most of the clients have entered stage 3. And of course, it's fluid, right? You don't necessarily, something terrible can happen and they find themselves back in stage 1 behaviors. But it's generally the intensity, duration, and frequency of stage 1 target behaviors tend to go down over time. Doesn't mean they're immune to them. But I would say the majority of our clients that discharge from our program either no longer qualify for the diagnosis, or their symptoms again have gone down in frequency, intensity, and duration. So I know from working in inpatient psychiatry and mental health programs that there can be very pejorative ways of looking at dissociation, complex PTSD, borderline personality disorder. But in my experience, a phased approach is generally successful,
Great.
with of course variations.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's all the questions I have. Thanks very much.
Welcome.